So whether the project started in our time, started in Kufuor's time, started in their time, any projects that remain uncompleted and abandoned, when the NDC comes, we'll tackle them and complete them. But tell me, what is new is that we all can diagnose the problems of our country and the challenges. We have a youth bulge, we have a growing youth population. The largest part of our population today is made of people below 35 years of age. And what is needed is opportunities for them to be able to realize their full potential. And so it's all about job creation and job creation and job creation. And so while we build infrastructure, we're going to focus on job creation so that our young people can get jobs to do and be able to look after themselves. So that our young people can be able to get jobs to do, so that they can buy their own mobile phones and not go for 1 CD, 2 CD mobile phones. And so, Volta region has a lot of potential. It has potential in tourism that can bring a lot of investment and money into tourism. It has investments in agriculture that can bring a lot of food to feed our people, provide employment for our youth, and be able to export food and earn money from outside. It has a lot of potential in agro-processing, adding value to the crops that we produce. It has a lot of potential in irrigated agriculture. We have the whole Volta, Southern Volta River flowing through the Volta region. We did earlier projects like the Apipe Rice project and several other projects which today are not working. We're going to revamp the Apipe Rice project. We're going to look at the left bank of the Volta where there's plenty land for irrigated agriculture, maize, cassava, rice, everything we want to grow there. Because we want to develop the full potential of this region so that our people will be able to finish school here, find work here, and be able to be responsible citizens in the Volta region. And so we're going to invest in infrastructure, but we're going to invest in a major way in oil palm, in cocoa, in ginger, in cassava, in rice, and every product that the Volta region is capable of producing. In addition, we'll build modern markets so that our people can come and trade in their goods. We'll build a market at Aflao, a big market at Ashigame, so that on our side we also have Ashigame. Our mothers can go there and trade and earn an income for themselves. So there's a lot that we have and intend to do, but we know that the economy is in a mess. And so one of the promises I've made is as soon as we come, we're going to hold a safety forum. We're going to open the books so that Ghanaians will see what the true state of the economy is. And when we have seen what the true state of the economy is, we'll come out with a strategies, homegrown fiscal consolidation program to be able to lift Ghana out of the mess in which it is. And so those are the few messages that I have, but before I sit down, I want to introduce the elections in December are presidential and parliamentary. And so we're going to be required to vote. We're going to have to vote both in the presidential and parliamentary elections. I'm standing for the presidential, and my younger brother here, Honorable Potosu, is standing for the parliamentary. So, I'm coming to present him to you. He's one of your own already, but I want to present him to you so that on 7th December, we need a working majority in Parliament. So that on 7th December, you will bring him back to Parliament so that we can work together to do all the things that I said I'll do for you. So on 7th December, when you go to cast your vote, when you cast your vote for JM, also cast your vote for Honorable Potosu.
Great honor to be seen for the second time in 3 days. We are with us over the weekend, and I'm glad that we're here today. It's always a joy to see you. Let me start to congratulate you, first of all, on your 24-hour economic policy. Someone who believes in hard work, I believe this is what we need. And it's obvious that the application of this policy in the manufacturing sector can indeed be a game changer. When you buy plant and equipment, it is for you 24 hours a day. If you choose to use it only for 8 hours, there's a little chance that you will do well, because the manufacturers of those machines have made them to be printed for 24 hours, and that determines the price at which they are sold at. So I think it's a matter of cost that if you have a factory, you want to see how you can keep the machines running always. The same as we see in the airline industry. It's always in the interest of the airline to ensure that the aircraft is airborne always. That is how you make your money. And it's also quite important because with the advent of the Africa Continental Free Trade Area Agreement, we in Ghana need to expand our production capacity so we can take maximum advantage. It has been established that we are far behind those countries currently in the pilot phase as far as exports to our counterparts are concerned. And I'm aware that Nigeria recently launched an ambitious $50 billion program to expand production and therefore exports to Africa, taking advantage of AFTA. So I think your policy is a sure way of making us ready to also export to other African countries. And of course, by so doing, expand employment. The factory that runs for 8 hours, one shift, decides to do 3 shifts. At least theoretically, they can expand factory labor force 3-fold. And of course, lower cost of production per unit and become more competitive. So I think it's a great policy we all deserve some. It deserves all of our support. I've also recently read about your newly launched youth policy, and I find it also very exciting. In particular, your plan to engage the youth in issue making at all levels of government. I think it's a good step forward because the future belongs to the youth, and it's about time they participate in the issue making process. Thank you very much for that policy. I'm also very excited, Your Excellency, about your promise to review the payment of ex-gratias to the privileged few who enjoy ex-gratias in our country. I think you have all of our support. The Constitution does not mandate, does not make compulsory. It just asks that a committee or committees decide what ex-gratias selected employees should entitled to. It could be the case they are not entitled to it. It certainly is not the case that they must be paid. And worst of all, for people to get ex-gratias or end of service benefits multiple times in their lives. At a time when we are not able to pay our NAPO employees, we are not able to pay our national service students or graduates. So I think that is also a thought in the right direction. Let me also congratulate you on your exoneration in the air baskets. I think it's good news, not only for you, but for all of Ghana. Because it would have been a stab on the back. It would have been a dashing of hopes if you were to be found culpable. So congratulations on your exoneration. Your Excellency, I want to take the opportunity to share a few thoughts with you. The gathering, and of course with Ghanaians at large. You said it rightly that indeed there is a lot of work to do. Yes, there is a lot of work to do. What I will talk about will all be facts. It's not about politics, but it's about things that matter to the average Ghanaian. There is a fine line between partisan politics and discussion of politics. Of course, we chiefs are banned from partisan politics. But the reality of the matter is that we are also victims of everything that happens in this country. We suffer consequences of every wrong thing that happens as much as we enjoy all the good things that happen. So we cannot stand aloof as far as our developmental issues are concerned. And very importantly too, the chiefs are the people every day, indeed every hour. So when they are in difficulty, the first place to go to is the paramount chief's house. So chiefs naturally must be concerned about happenings in our country. So I'll share my thoughts. Your Excellency and my fellow Ghanaians, the dream of every Ghanaian is to live a good life, is to be happy. Indeed, our founding fathers believed in our ability to manage our own affairs, bring development to our people, bring employment to our people, and bring happiness to our people. And that's why they said that the Ghanaian was capable of managing his own affairs, and they fought for our independence. Of course, our constitution has also carry the same dream and prescribed under the guiding principles of state policy that the state shall be managed in ways that bring economic prosperity, brings employment, and brings happiness to all Ghanaians. And of course, it also requires that opportunities be created for all Ghanaians to participate in the development process. Yes, I believe we cannot manage our own affairs, and I also believe that we have everything that it takes to ensure that our people enjoy decent living standards. Thankfully, the good Lord has endowed us with a lot of resources. Apart from our human resources, young, growing population, we have so much arable land that is uncultivated. We have a lot of mineral resources. We can name them: gold, diamond, manganese, bauxite, more recently lithium. We also have oil and gas. Ghana has more than its fair share of the world's endowment of natural resources. So indeed, we have no reason to be poor. Indeed, we must be able to achieve the dreams of our founding fathers. Yes. And also the expectations of the framers of our constitution. But the reality is that the state of affairs currently is not very good. Our country has become heavily indebted. Our debts total now about almost 800 billion Ghana cedis. Meaning that the average Ghanaian owes about 24,000 Ghana cedis. The sad part is that we are so indebted, and yet we still lack a lot of the basic amenities that should make life enjoyable. Coming to home from Accra, I'm sure you all saw the nature of the roads that you drove on. Going to Apollo can be west. It is west to owe a lot of money, and much west to owe a lot of money and still be lacking basic amenities. Not only are we heavily indebted, but we are suffering from high levels of inflation, peaking at 54% some months ago, and now standing at 22.8%. The expectation presented by Ministry of Finance is that this will get to about 15% by the end of the year, but that is very much unlikely, because inflation year to the end of June, half year alone, price change, CPI change, is almost 13%. So with 6 months to go from the end of June, I expect that inflation may still be 20% plus, which is very high, considering what we see among comparable countries that we think are our peers. Similarly, we see the city losing value unceasingly. From our 4 cedis to $1 in 2016, we are now almost at 16 cedis to the dollar. cost of living has gone up accordingly, but incomes have not gone up to compensate for those increases. So our people are indeed suffering. Worst of all, just as you've said, we are suffering massive unemployment, particularly among the youth. Recent statistics suggest that unemployment worldwide is at the lowest level now in 15 years. But we are still suffering massive unemployment. So when you combine massive indebtedness with high levels of inflation, high levels of city depreciation, and joblessness, then you begin to see the plight of our people. So our people are indeed suffering. The state of our affairs is not very good. To deal with our problems, we need to be able to define the causes. But before I go to the cause, let me hit on some of the consequences of the state of affairs. What we see is that majority of Ghanaians have plans to leave their country in search of greener pastures. And we've seen statistics from the American embassy, the UK embassy, where applicant numbers, for visas are on the increase. If you want an American visa now, you have an appointment that takes you as far away as several months, just because there are so many people in the queue. So Ghanaians want to live at their own country. We saw the recent attacks on foreigners in the UK last week. Those are not deterring enough. We've seen similar attacks on foreigners in South Africa some time ago, not deterring enough. And of course, also coming to memory was the slaughter of about 50 or so Ghanaians in Gambia some time ago. And I'll ask that anybody who emerges as leader of this country tries to be a president for all, not a president for just a section of the country. Again, as I said, opposition is what makes victory sweet.